Hi.
Hi.
So, got a lot of energy tonight, singing, comedy, very talented people. And I thought, what could this variety show use? And I said, something boring. So, I'm just going to be talking at you like you're in first grade and your teacher's reading you a storybook. The twist is that I wrote all this myself. So, call it a monologue, call it an essay, call it whatever you want. But yeah, this is called A Night Without Fireflies. The past few years of my life have been fantastic, full of achievement. I'm doing almost exactly what I want to be doing at this point in my life. I've found passions that feel like callings. My academic career is flourishing, and I love being a student. I just earned my bachelor's with the highest honors, and I'm prepping for grad school in the fall. My name has been on many successful local projects. I'm building a decent portfolio as a writer, and I'm meeting and collaborating with a lot of wonderful people. Tonight, for instance. And I've never enjoyed my hobbies as much as I do now. By all accounts, I'm doing really, really well for myself. And I'm sure your immediate thought is, did I really spend $10 and haul a chair into this fucking backyard just to hear this 20-something gloat? To which the answer is yes. No. I'm sharing because despite everything I've just said, and all of the sleepless study nights and endless stress and the tuition bills and the passion and the time and the growth that has gone into everything, I haven't for a second felt proud of myself. It's not a confidence or self-esteem issue. And I'm not incapable of feeling proud. If I hear about or see someone I care about accomplish something, however minor, I feel it. And when I direct a show and the performance finally rolls around, I have a habit of sitting by myself or standing in the back of the room because I don't want anyone seeing how emotional I tend to get. I get very, very proud, but I can't for myself. Most of the time it's fine, honestly. You don't need to be proud of yourself to be healthy or do good or even be happy necessarily. But in those moments of reflection, usually between the hours of midnight and 5 a.m., which I'm usually awake, when I'm realizing so many achievements are behind me and that I felt nothing when I clawed my way past them, that silence is loud. So why? Maybe something happened in my childhood that stunted that emotional area in my brain. That's when we all get screwed up, right? Maybe I'm still subconsciously holding out for some future achievement, and once that hits me, then all the satisfaction will come flooding in. Maybe that's what it is. But as I've sat with this and looked for the real reason I'm not proud of myself, my thoughts don't drift back to past accomplishments. They go forward. Maybe I'm not proud of myself because the future of the world around me feels so consistently grim. How could I have the will to be proud of myself when it feels like any day now all of the societal progress we've made in the past 90 years could become undone in a second? How could I have pride in myself when I have loved ones whose pride is made out to be depraved or outright evil? What's the point in being proud of improving artistically when seemingly every technological advancement being made in the last half-decade serves not to make work easier for the laborer, but to cheapen the diligent efforts of the artist? Maybe I'm not proud of myself because I'm seeing generations far ahead of me, leaving behind a world that's going to suck. In the world they're leaving me, I'll have no time to do anything but work. I'll have no money to my name, and I'll be living in a house I don't own. Looking out the window at an unnaturally hot summer night and a lawn without any fireflies. And this was never intended to sound like the beginning of a manifesto, by the way. And I almost want to apologize for the fact that it's tonally gone in that direction. I'm sure that a more objective look at these fears, paired with a dash of optimism, would reveal that I'm afraid of a boogeyman. I'm an extremely fortunate and lucky person, all things considered. Barring a world-shattering cataclysm, which if I had any wood up here, I would knock on it, I'll be able to personally live, at the very least, a decent life. But I don't think that's the point. I think the fact that a young man who ought to be seeing the world as his oyster is having these feelings at all is significant in its own way. I think it's significant that a young man can't feel proud of himself because he feels the looming future cast a shadow over him that's darker than a night without fireflies. I think that most of it is probably out of my hands, and whether or not I'm ever proud of myself hinges a lot on seeing little wispy green lights over my future lawn. I wish I could bookend this with a nicer sentiment than that. A word of advice or something. I will say that what's struck me the most as I finally allowed myself to share my writing is how much it resonates. It's extremely humbling to present something that came from me and watch my audience interpret it into something that's their own. I guess that's the point of art, isn't it? So, if I may be so bold, I think it's safe to assume that if you're not already, you'll be thinking about what I'm saying later and considering yourself. About progress you've made recently or throughout your entire life, an achievement or accolade or anything else that you worked your ass off for. It could be anything that's worth being proud of. And maybe like me, you're thinking, I really ought to feel better about this. I want some magic words that'll make you feel the pride that you've rightfully earned. But anything I say would ring more like a hollow platitude than anything really meaningful, because I haven't figured out how to be proud of myself either. I hope that we can figure it out. It's the least we can do for ourselves. Thank you.